Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Marvel Studios' newest announced Disney Plus series will be Wonder Man, founder of the West Coast Avengers, and possibly, finally, the answer of how White Vision, Paul Bettany, could return in the MCU after he blasted off again in WandaVision. Like many lost Jersey boys who get their brains broken and need some vitamin D, this guy's like, I'm headed out California way, 'cause droids like us, baby, we were born to run. Oh boy. I'm the boss, not the boss. The Hollywood Reporter broke the news this week that Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton is teaming up with writer from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community and your guest to bring Wonder Man to Disney Plus. And if you're like many folks, your first reaction might have been, why? There's actually a very good reason. I'm gonna explain why Simon Williams and the world that he occupies, including Vision, the West Coast Avengers, Zemo, the Thunderbolts, actually fits in pretty well with Marvel's plans and could be a Marvel take on some of the best content on TV right now. Why Wonder Man could essentially be a love letter to television the way WandaVision turned out to be the MCU's Barry, but co-starring She-Hulk, Bucky, Zemo, and Val. I mean, what's not to love about that? Technically, Simon Williams already appeared in the MCU on a movie poster from a deleted scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, a biopic person movie titled Tony Stark, a la Danny Boyle's Steve Jobs, with Simon Williams starring as Tony Stark. James Gunn's buddy Nathan Fillion did a photo shoot for a bunch of fake movie posters for that movie, but we never actually saw them in any of the frames of the movie. They were removed. But in the comics, Simon Williams was first introduced in the 60s Avengers comics, the son of a wealthy industrialist and rival to Stark Industries who's caught embezzling money and imprisoned, ends up teaming up with Zemo when Zemo was running the Masters of Evil, and Williams gets empowered with ionic energy to become Wonder Man. He tries to infiltrate the Avengers, but ends up siding with the Avengers against Zemo. It's kind of a common thing for Zemo. Now, in the years after Simon Williams is in suspended animation, and his brother, Erik Williams, becomes the Grim Reaper and uses Simon's body to attack the Avengers. But then years after that, Ultron creates Vision, and he actually uses the brainwaves of Simon Williams to give Vision his personality. So yes, folks, in Marvel lore, Simon Williams is a key component of what we know Vision to be. And you may remember when we were neck deep in WandaVision theories in the wonderful time of early 2021, a few Easter eggs in that series included overt references to the Grim Reaper, not to mention the parallels to the West Coast Avengers storyline in the creation of White Vision. And Wonder Man really came into his own in that 80s storyline as the founder of the West Coast Avengers when Simon moves to Los Angeles to pursue a career in Hollywood as a stunt actor. And that is why I think Marvel Studios is moving forward with this Wonder Man title, because it picks up with these West Coast Avenger and Grim Reaper clues that were left as loose ends in WandaVision. And if the MCU version of Simon Williams is simply White Vision from WandaVision, it would give us an exciting new direction for the Synthezoid, a WandaVision season 1.5 alongside Agatha House of Harkness, and a fun companion series to titles like Armor Wars, Thunderbolts, and a sort of Shang-Chi follow-up. Hell, it could even give us a great way to redeem Ralph Boner from Westview. I know, it sounds impossible, but hear me out. So the Synthezoid known as White Vision in the MCU is of course a product of Sword director Hayward using the corpse of Vision recovered after Thanos killed him in Wakanda in Infinity War, pulling apart his body made up of vibranium atoms fused with Helen Cho's artificial tissue in Age of Ultron. Hayward reconstructed it and charged it with radiation that Wanda Maximoff left on a Stark Industries weaponized drone that she tossed out of Westview, like a mean neighbor throwing back a frisbee that landed in her yard. Now, back in the MCU, as we saw in Age of Ultron, Vision's personality really came from Tony Stark's AI of Jarvis, not Simon Williams' brainwaves. But this way, White Vision from WandaVision could be Marvel Studios' way of deconstructing and retroactively generating the Simon Williams persona within another Vision body, played by Paul Bettany in this case, containing Vision's memories, but one less attached to Wanda Maximoff. And this Vision's origin moment was really that ship of Theseus debate with the Westview Vision identity in the WandaVision finale.
Is that the ship of Theseus?
Neither is the true ship. Both are the true ship.
Of course, that scene ended with White Vision, confused, blasting out of a skylight, never to be seen again, leaving us wondering if he might reappear as a sentient weapon in Armor Wars, or maybe mentoring the Young Avengers. But to be honest, none of those really sounded that exciting to me. Rather, the prospect of White Vision heading west of Westview to establish the MCU's West Coast Avengers, as he applies his talent to Hollywood action movie sets as stunt muscle trying to find his soul, sounds exactly like the kind of comedic premise that a team from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and the Shang-Chi director would work wonders with, and make a name like Wonder Man pretty hilarious hilarious when paired with Paul Bettany's vacant mouth breathing. And if you think about it, this is very much the premise of HBO's Barry, one of my favorite series on television right now, in which Bill Hader plays a violent hitman who tries to find his soul by taking acting classes in Hollywood. Now, if they end up not doing the White Vision Paul Bettany route, Bill Hader, along with Nathan Fillion, would be pretty great choices for Wonder Man, if you ask me. But if we go the White Vision direction, White Vision's interest in the film and television industry could come from his experience being imprinted upon by a vision who was generated in a hex modeled on famous Hollywood sitcoms, the last of which, episodes 6 and 7, were based on Malcolm in the Middle and Modern Family. Matt Shakman even shot the Westview exteriors in Burbank on the Warner Brothers Colonial Street lot, which was used in a ton of TV shows, as opposed to where every other Marvel Disney Plus show is shot on Disney's Pinewood Studios lot in Atlanta. Matt Shakman chose the Burbank set to give Westview that classic TV sitcom artificiality. So White Vision's activation moment was meant to reflect Ultron's awakening. When Ultron rapidly scanned through decades of news footage, White Vision's parallel awakening could be rooted in TV sitcom history, leaving him with a fascination and an appreciation for the narrative tropes that we saw in the episodes of WandaVision, and now the guy heading west to LA to actualize those dreams. This would also be a great opportunity to bring back Evan Peters as working actor Ralph Boner. He's already got the headshots, and I think he'd be great as Simon Williams' roommate, joining him on auditions. Maybe the two even live together on a boat anchored in Marina Del Rey, a boat named the Theseus. Balancing Simon's life as a working actor would be the MCU Avenger level threats that we come to expect from this genre, with Simon building a West Coast Avenger lineup composed of people like the Los Angeles-based She-Hulk, the San Francisco-based Shang-Chi, and Carol Danvers, who did spend most of her time in LA and Edwards Air Force Base in California. Why did we see that particular lineup in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton? Maybe this is why. The threat they face? Probably the Thunderbolts, the other future Marvel title that we just heard some news about in this same week. The Thunderbolts seem like they're gonna include people like Zemo, John Walker, Yelena Belova, Abomination, overseen by people like Val. Maybe that's why Miss Marvel seems to be sending Bruno Corelli westward to Caltech, so that we have a new young tech wizard in California to balance out the brainiacs like Riri Williams at MIT. Of course, Marvel Studios can do a solid Wonder Man title without making him White Vision. And yeah, actors like Nathan Fillion would make a pretty good Simon Williams. I just think there's so much left to mine from WandaVision, and that White Vision backstory makes the most sense to me. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Erik Voss. Follow Rockstars, subscribe to Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.